before we see about sequence, let us see activity 1.1.
Question number 5. Consider the following Pascal triangle. Then let Fn be the sum of number in the nth row. For example, f of 1 is equal to 1. That means f of 1 means the sum of number in first row. In first row 1 by itself. Then f of 2 is equal to 1 plus 1. That means f of 2 means the sum of number in second row. And f of 3 means the sum of number in third row. Therefore, the sum of number in third row means 1 plus 2 plus 1, which is equal to 4. Then A says that evaluate f of 10, f of 50, and f of n. Before we find f of 10 and f of 50, we have to find f of n by considering the pattern given as example.
Then, as given in question, f of 1 means the sum of number in first row equal to 1. f of 2 is equal to the sum of number in second row. That means 1 plus 1, which is equal to 2. f of 3 means the sum of number in third row. In third row means 1 plus 2 plus 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. And the sum of number in fourth row means 1 plus 3, 4, 4 plus 3, 7, 7 plus 1 is 8. Then we have to find the general formula for f of n. When we consider these patterns 1, 2, 4, 8, it is to the power of n. To the power of, we can say to the power of n, but when we substitute to get the general formula, we have to substitute at the place of n1, it becomes 2. So we have to subtract 1 from n to get the first term. Therefore, this is a general formula or general terms of f of n. Therefore, when we get the general terms for f of n, we can find f of 10. f of 10 means we substitute at the place of n 10, 10 minus 1, which is equal to the power of 9, which is equal to, as I think it becomes 512. You can check it. f of 50 is equal to the power of 50 minus to the power of 50 minus 1, which is equal to the power of 40. You can find this value by using scientific calculator. Let us see B. Question number 5B on coordinate plane. Let us take the disordered pair when n is equal to 1. f of 1 is equal to 1. Therefore, the ordered pair is 1, 1. When n is 2, the f of 2 is 2. When n is 3, f of 3 is 4. When n is 4, f of 4 is 8. Then in the question n is equal to 1 up to 6. Therefore, when n is 5, it becomes 60. When n is 6, it becomes 32. Then we can plot this ordered pair in coordinate plane. The graph of this ordered pair is look like this one. That means this is the graph of the sequence in question number 5a. That means this is the graph on coordinate plane for f of n. But we cannot connect this point with line because in sequence the domain is positive integer or natural number. In this sequence, in this ordered pair, our domain is positive integer from 1 up to 6. But when if we connect this with a line, we say the domain of this function is all real number or all positive real number from 1 up to 6. Kana jechuun maal jechuudha? Yoo graafii kana sararaan wal qabsiisne domainiin keenya real numberii positive real numberii dha jechaa jirra jechuudha. Garuu domainiin functionii kana ammoo maalodha? Positive integer yookiin natural numberii tokko haga 6 jiranidha jechuudha. Kanaaf sararaan wal qabsiisuu hin qabnu. Let us see the definition of sequence. Definition. Definition 1.1. Gaafii kana keessatti functioniin nuu kenname f'n keenya a map to natural number. A map to natural number jechuun domainiin keenya a dha, codomainiin keenya immoo natural number. That means in this function our domain is a and our codomain is natural number. Without any calculation, we can decide this function is sequence or not. Functioning kuni sequence idamo sequence miti kan jedhu sana asumarra murteessuu hin dandeenya. Maalifi definitionii keenya keessatti maal jedha? Sequencing tokko jalqaba isaa maal ta'uu qaba? Sequence dha jedhamuudhaaf patternii nuu kenname tokko functionii ta'uu qaba. Egga functionii ta'e immoo domain isaa maal ta'uu qaba? Natural numberii ta'e isayyuu meeqarraa kan jalqabu? Tokkorraa kan jalqabu ta'uu qaba jechuudha. Natural numberii tokkorraa jalqabu ta'e isayyuu immoo maal ta'uu qaba? Walitti aananii kan jiran. Natural numberii walitti aananii jiran. Domainii functionii kanaa yoo ilaallu n 3 5 7 9 jedhee deema. Kana jechuun walitti aananii natural numberoota walitti aananii jiranii miti jechuudha domainiin keenya. Kanaafuu functioniin kun maal ta'uu hin danda'u? Sequence ta'uu hin danda'u jechuudha. Kanaaf jalqabumaa akkasumatti ilaallee functioniin kun sequence dha moo sequence miti waan jedhu kana murteessuu ni dandeenya jechuudha. Kanaaf this is not solution in maal ta'a? This is not sequence because the domain of this function, the domain of this function is not consecutive natural number and also not start from 1. Let us see the notation of sequence. Notation of sequence. When we see the notation of sequence, we can express or we can describe the sequence within listing terms. Then we can also express by writing general terms by writing general terms. The other one is by drawing graph, and the last one is by recurrence relation. Example, Example, if the sequence is expressed in listing terms, we can express by writing general term, by drawing graph, and by recurrence relation. Then let us see example 1. By if the sequence is given by listing term, if it is given by listing term, terms 3, 6, 10, 50, extra, then we can express this by other 3 methods. This is given by listing term. Then we can find the general term of this sequence. Let us take A1 3 as given in listing terms. A2 is equal to 6, A3 is equal to 10 is equal to 10. Then we have to find an is equal to, let us say an to find the general formula. Let us see the difference between this sequence. The difference between first term and the second term is 3. Second term and the next term is 4. When we see the fourth term, A4 is equal to 50. Then AN is equal to, when we consider this pattern, AN is equal to, let us say N plus 2. To get the first term, N plus 2. When we substitute at the place of N1, 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. But when we find the second term, 2 at the place of N, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Therefore, let us multiply this by N plus 1. N plus 1, that is, when we substitute 1 here, 1 plus 2, 3 times 2. Termiin isa jalqabaa argachuudhaaf bakka kana yoo goone, bakka inni 1 yoo buusne 1 plus 2 3, asis 1 plus 1 2 da. Then we have to divide this by 2. Lamaaf yoo hirru maal ta'a? Let us check. A1 bakka inni tokko yoo buusnu 1 plus 2 1 over 2 is equal to meeqa ta'a kuni? 2 ta'a. 2 dhaan yoo baddu 3 dhufa. A2 dhaaf immoo 1 bakka inni 2 buusi 2 plus 2 1 plus 2 plus 1 divided by 2. Kana jechuun kun 4 dhufa. 4 lamaaf 2 baay'isu 3 6 ta'a. Then A3 yoo barbaannu 3 plus 2 times 3 plus 1 divided by 2. Kana jechuun kun 4 lamaaf 2 baay'isu 5 10 ta'a jechuudha. Kanaaf general formulaan keenya maal ta'a? AN is equal to N plus 2 times N plus 1 over 2 ta'a jechuudha. General termiin keenya. Let us draw or express this sequence with an graph. Graphidhaan immoo yoo ilaalu, let us take this is N, this is A sub N, A of N jechuudha. When we take x-axis as N, that means it is independent variable, and AN take as on y-axis because it is dependent variable. Then when we find the ordered pair, or when we take the function A of N is equal to A of n is equal to this one, A of n is equal to this one. Let us take when we replace at the place of n1, then it becomes the ordered pair is 1 comma. When we substitute at n is equal to 1, it becomes 3. When we replace at the place of n2, it becomes 6, then 2, 6, then 3, 3, 10, 4, 50, 50. Then we can plot these points on this coordinate plane. Let us take n1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then let us take this as 3, 6, 9, 12, 50. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bakka qusachuudhaaf isa kana immoo 3, 6, 9 jechaa adeemnu 15. Then yoo n tokko ta'u bakka n tokko yoo buusnu maal arganna? 3 argannaa jechuudha. 1, 3 jechuun naannoo kana. Okay, 2, 6 jechuun immoo naannoo kana ta'a. 3, 10 jechuun immoo 9 bira xiqqoo ol darbee naannoo kana ta'a. Yoo x'n yoo n'n 4 ta'u immoo meeqa ta'a? 15 ta'a jechuun around here. Kana fakkaataa jechuudha giraafii isaa graafikaalii yoo express koonu jechuudha. Functionii kana graafikaalii yoo ibsinu. Let us describe this sequence by recurrence relation. Let us see the definition of recurrence relation before we describe this sequence within recurrence relation. What does mean recurrence relation? Sequence. When we show this sequence in terms of the previous term in sequence an, that means in listing term a1 is given for us. When see the listing term of the sequence 3, 6, 10, 50 and so on. Then let us take a1 is equal to 3. That means a1 is equal to 3. In a recurrence relation, we have to have initial condition. We have to have initial condition. Let us take a1 is equal to 3 as initial condition. Then a2 is equal to a1 plus 2. a1 plus 2 plus 1. a3 is equal to a2. This is equal to a1 means 3 plus 2 plus 1 is equal to 6. a3 means a2 plus 3 plus 1. a2 means 6 plus 3 plus 1 which is equal to 10. a4 is equal to a3 plus 4 plus 1 which is equal to a3 means 10 plus 4 plus 1 which is equal to 50. Therefore, according to these patterns, an is equal to an minus 1, the previous term. When we consider this sequence, a2 means is equal to a1 plus 2 plus 1. When we find a2 plus 3 plus this remains n. Then when we consider in a2, a1 plus 2 means this n. When we consider a4, a3 plus 4 means number of n. Therefore, an is equal to an minus 1. When we find a4, we start from a3, a2. When we find a2, a1. Then an is equal to an minus 1 plus n plus 1. This is a recurrence relation formula for this sequence. Then the best example is a Fibonacci sequence for recurrence relation. The common or the best example is a Fibonacci sequence. In next video, we see the concept of recurrence relation. Commonly, we see the Fibonacci sequence. Also, we see the general form of or the general terms of Fibonacci sequence. Kan arraa barnoonni arraa kana fakkaata. Barnoota isa ittaanu keessatti mata duree akkamitti recurrence relation nu kenname yookiin immoo listing termiidhaan yoo nu kenname sequencein tokko akkamitti general termi isaa barbaaduu dandeenya kan jedhu kanaafi akkasumas immoo recurrence relationiidhaaf fakkeenya gaariin Fibonacci sequence kan jedhamudha. Fibonacci sequence kun maalidha waan jedhuufi akkamitti immoo general formula Fibonacci sequence barbaannaa kan jedhu kana video ittaanu keessatti ilaalla. Gaafii yoo qabaattan karaa commentii nu gaafachuu dandeessu akkasumas immoo karaa fuula Facebookii keenya karaa fuula Telegramii keenyatiinis nu gaafachuu dandeessu jechuudha. Waan fooyya'u yoo jiraate comment godhaa. Kabiraammoo share, like fi subscribe gochuu hin dagatina. Ofii keessanii video kana yoo argattanis namni biraammoo akka yookiin barataan biraa akka argachuu danda'uuf share gochuu hin dagatina. See you with the next lecture video.